Hello, for my book talk today, I read about the novel The Tattooist of Auschwitz. This follows the story of a Jewish man, Leil Sokolov, from Slovakia, as he endures the horrors of the Holocaust in Europe in the late 1930s and the early 1940s. He ends up being in a concentration camp, Auschwitz-Birkenau, after he volunteers to be given up to the Germans to save his family from the Germans, because they're all Jewish. And upon the request of the German guards, he becomes a tattooist, also known as a tattooier in German, and he permanently marks the thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of prisoners that come into that huge concentration camp in Poland. And he really shows how, through his thoughts in this book, he really shows how resilient and optimistic character he is through his horrible job and through the conditions and things that he endures. But through his job, he has advantages that he gets, and he uses those advantages to help others. He also uses gems and money found in the old clothing of dead prisoners, because everyone took all of their most prized belongings. He uses that to buy food and medicine for those in need at the camp. Through all this, he also meets the love of his life, Gita, and he manages to protect her from the Germans throughout all this. But it's only a matter of time before he gets caught or punished in this really high-risk things that he's doing. Yeah, I would recommend this text to others. It seemed like it was a pretty fast-paced and exciting novel about the Holocaust, and I thought it was pretty educational too. It's historical fiction, so it's still still has a good story to it. That's fiction, but also teaches you things about the Holocaust. I thought maybe this would be good for 13 and up, kids that are 13 and up. Maybe not necessarily older adults. I feel like it's not necessarily targeted towards them, but they can still probably read it. But there is some bad language, some morbid scenes that maybe parents wouldn't want their kids to read. But I did think that the author uses the words in an easy to understand way that younger kids can read and understand and comprehend. Heather Morris is the author, and I thought she uses the words in a really nice way that made me want to keep reading the book. I didn't want to stop reading it. An example of this is in quotes, "He departs, his mind a whirlpool." This is a metaphor that really aids in the characterization of Leil, and it compares his mind to a swirling body of water, which I think in his situation, it's good that he's thinking about what's happening around him. This book is also written in third person, but the author reveals Leil's thoughts by separating them from the text and making them into italics. Example of this is Leil thinks of the hundreds of times he has walked the road alongside and seen this activity taking place. And then after this, it's in italics, his thoughts. "No, I only glimpsed it. I couldn't watch what these men were enduring." And that's the end of the quote. And it really separated his thoughts and the actual text. And I thought this would make this more confusing. Less confusing. With the inclusion of thoughts, you can read what Leil is thinking, and this also aids in the characterization of Leil. Overall, I thought The Tattooist of Auschwitz was a really good book about the Holocaust. I like to read a lot of books about World War II in general, and I thought this was good for the Holocaust in Europe, especially in concentration camps, and from a different perspective. It's from a man who is in a position that's advantageous. He's working for the Germans, but not actually, because he's still a prisoner. And I thought that was really interesting to read. And I think this definitely made my top 5 Holocaust books list. So that's all for today. So thanks for listening. Bye.